I remember when I was moving here in New York City and I was watching videos like these. Now I am making videos like these for people that want to move here. Like, what? Hi Modelpreneurs, my name is Vanance, model coach, and the creator of Model to Modelpreneur. So for the best modeling tips and planning tips, make sure to subscribe to my channel, click that bell so that you are notified every time I post a new video. Modelpreneurs, I am super excited to be coming here with a new video. Welcome back to my channel. You know what time it is. In today's video, I wanted to talk about moving to a big city like New York City. This video is mainly for modelpreneurs, but if you are not a model, this video is also going to help you if you are trying to move to a bigger city. I currently live in Brooklyn, New York City, which I believe is the best city to be living in. New York City. So it's like the most amazing feeling just waking up here every single day in my New York City apartment, because I used to dream about this and now I'm actually here. So I've pretty much lived in different boroughs in the city. I used to live in Long Island City, and Long Island City is maybe 10 minutes to the city, so I've kind of had like the city life. Brooklyn is about 30 to 40 minutes from the city, especially where I live. The commute to go to the city is really not that bad. Okay, so now we are almost ready to talk about the process and me giving you the tips and everything that I did for you to also move to a bigger city. But before we do that, I just want to say that if you are new to my channel, if you've never seen my face, go ahead and click the button down below and subscribe. Click the notification bell so that you are notified every time I post a new video. I try to post once a week, so you get new videos once a week. Let's get into like the steps on what I did to move to the city. First of all, I used to live in DC. I always knew that I was gonna move to the city. I was literally here every 2 weeks for like 4 years. So I always got like modeling gigs here in New York City. I had already made friends in the city. I was already kind of like familiar with the place. It was kind of getting a little overwhelming. It even got to a point where I was here literally like almost every week. And it was just a lot, like the 4-hour drive back and forth. And I made a decision that I wanted to move. Let's talk about my budgeting. I was working hard as shit. I had started Model to Modelpreneur, which is my full-time business right now. I was kind of like starting it, so I wasn't making that much money from it, but I was, you know what I mean? I still kind of like had a regular job. I just like started working super hard, like trying to make as much money as possible. I saved up maybe about like $3,000. Before I even did that, I didn't really do my research. I didn't really like look into the YouTube videos and all that stuff. I was just like, I'm trying to get the fuck out. I'm trying to leave. I don't want to be here. So I didn't really have a plan, and I'm gonna talk about why you guys should kind of plan it out, but this is my experience and what I did. Okay, let's get into how to find places to move in the city and how much you're really going to need for rent. Bitch! In general, when you want to move to New York City, they're gonna ask you for so much shit, so just get ready for that. They want to make sure that you're making money. They're gonna ask you for pay stubs. They're gonna also ask you 3 months of bank statement. They're gonna ask you for you to have about 600 to 700 credit score. They're gonna ask you for your first month rent, security deposit, last month's rent. You also gotta pay for application fee. Usually it's not even refundable. I think I mentioned everything. So those are the main things that they were gonna ask you for. To move in, you're probably gonna need about $4,000 sometimes, depending on where you're moving to. That's a lot. Like, I did not have $4,000 to move at that time, so that was a hell no for me. I needed to figure out how am I gonna move to the city without actually spending over $4,000. Let me tell you guys what I did and what you should do as well to at least get into the city. When I was moving, my credit score was not that great. I did not have everything, so I already knew I was not gonna get approved for the apartment. Hey, okay, so before I continue this video, go ahead and comment down below and let me know what big city you're trying to move to and when. Comment, let me know, let's talk. Okay, continue the video, continue after you comment. Originally, before I had planned to move by myself, I was actually going to move with another model, but the situation happened, so I decided not to move with her anymore. Even before that, I met a guy at a fashion show when I came to New York City, and he told me that he owned a bunch of model apartments in the city. And I was like, okay, a model apartment. I was like, tell me more about it. Get my phone number, we can talk more about it. He gave me his phone number and we were in contact. So there's two types of model apartment. The first type of model apartment that most people know is like basically if you're assigned to an agency, the agency has an apartment where they basically have all the models that live in the same apartment, and when you get paid, they basically take out the money that you make and pay for that apartment. A bunch of girls live in that apartment. You have bunk beds and you know, that's basically what a model apartment is. That is the first one. The second model apartment, I didn't even know this. So the clubs, let's say for example there's a big club in New York City. The club owns a model apartment where models live, so they work at night. Like everybody have to schedule. Like for example, let's say on Monday, Tuesday, that's when you're supposed to go to the club. So they expect you to go to the club that night, basically to just entertain, you know, like entertain, you just be there, be cute, you know, whatever. And then you get food, free drinks all night, but they expect you to go there and they pay you like $100 to $200 per night. So the guy, that's the kind of apartment that he owned in the city. He had one in Brooklyn, he had one in Manhattan, and he had like a couple different apartments in the city. And I can't tell you guys what the club is, but it's a really big club in the city that own the model apartment. So I told him like, let's get on the phone call, let's talk about it. He explained it to me and I was like, thank you, you know, let me think about it. I really sat down and I thought about this, y'all, and it didn't make sense for me to live in a room with 5 or 10 other girls. I was not gonna do that. And you want to know why I decided not to go with that option? I feel like if it was a regular model apartment with an agency that I was signed with, I probably was going to do it. But because it was the club that owned the model apartment, I did not trust it. The apartment was beautiful, by the way. They showed it to me, but I was just thinking like, you don't know what really goes on there. I'm a very like private person. I was just like, I don't know if I can really take that, like just a bunch of girls next to my stuff. I don't like that. That's the first thing. The second thing that I thought about is like, they could have brought random people in that room at night and I don't even know. There was just all these things that was going into my head, and I'm like, that option, that's a no for me. So if you are a model that you feel like this is the option that's going to work for you, go ahead. Especially if you're assigned to an agency and they have a model apartment for you to live in the city, fuck yes, do it. I honestly would not recommend going with a club to live in the city. Don't do it. That's my opinion. Talking to you as your model coach, don't do it. Okay, so now that I made the decision that I wasn't going to go with the model apartment, I started doing my research on YouTube and I came upon this video. The girl mentioned a Facebook group called Gypsy Housing. So Gypsy Housing is basically like, they have regular realtors in there and everything, but it's where you sublease. So subleasing basically means that you're not on the lease, but you have an agreement with the person that is on the lease. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to sublease a room in New York City. I knew my budget was about $700, so I started like messaging people. I was still in DC, I wasn't even in New York City. And the rooms will go so fast. I remember I found this the perfect room for me, and it was out of my budget. It was actually $500 and it was huge. I messaged the girl the same day that she posted the ad. I was like, oh my god, I need this room. So I messaged her. I'm like, please, can you hold the room for me? She was just like, yeah, I'm gonna hold the room for you. I was so excited. Okay, I booked my ticket to New York. I was on my way, literally like about to get in the bus. She texted me and said, hey, somebody just took the room, sorry. I said, bitch, I cannot. I said, I'm not gonna give up. So what I decided to do is I got an Airbnb in New York City and I was just apartment hunting, the ones that I liked. Oh, the apartment was small and just like kind of like dirty. So I went back home and I was just still searching. I didn't give up. I was just trying to find a place to live until I found this beautiful apartment. From the picture that I saw, the room was huge. The same day I decided to book my ticket to New York. Came to New York, I saw the room. The room was small. The room was long, but it was short. I'm 5'8". When I tell you the room is like 5'7", my neck was like this in the room. Like, I'm giving you guys a reality, the things that you guys probably might go through. The room was about like $700. I decided to do it. I stayed there for about like 2 months, and then COVID happened. I decided to go back to DC. I was still paying rent in New York. So the apartment that I was living was filled with other girls, and it was amazing. I really love living with them, but I needed to move out as soon as possible because I needed more space. Let me tell you guys how much I was paying. I was paying $700. So when I moved, I had to pay first month rent, a deposit, which is $700, and then the last month rent, which was $700. So I paid about $2,100 to move in there. But that was basically my moving situation. I'm sure you probably will have a different type of moving situation. Just try to make it work for you. Get a U-Haul. You know, you can rent a U-Haul and bring your stuff. If you want to drive and not bring a lot of your stuff, you can always drive as well. Just know that if when you drive, you have to maybe go bring your car back if you're not going to drive in the city. I don't recommend to drive in the city. Like, there's the trains are super easy. Like, at first it's gonna be hard, but you got this. It's so easy. I can't really get lost anymore in the city because I'm very used to it now. I've been living here for a year, just in case I haven't mentioned that. So now let's talk about jobs. So if you're watching this, you're probably one of my modelpreneurs. If you're not one of my modelpreneurs or a model, then you're trying to figure out how you're gonna make money. So from my experience, when I moved here, I had my startup, you know, model to modelpreneur, my full-time business now. And when it comes to modeling, I was getting booked. Before, when I was in DC, I would get booked a lot in New York. So I would have money coming in that way. Modeling is so unpredictable, especially when you are a freelance model. So I was a freelance model, and I wanted to move to the city to get signed to an agency, which I ended up getting signed, but at the time I wasn't. So it was kind of like very unpredictable to make money, especially when I was moving around the pandemic, and I didn't know there was gonna be the pandemic. When I moved here, I was looking for jobs. Like, I was really scared because I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna really make money. I was making money for my business, but it wasn't like that crazy amount. I was like, let me find a job where I can basically save up. And I want you guys to know that I didn't move here just being blind about making money. Because I'm a creative, I know how to make money. I'm a hustler, baby. Really, I was scared mainly because I had the impression that living in the city, I needed so much money to survive. Like, you don't need so much money to survive. I was making the money to pay my rent, but I was just like, oh my god, I need more. So I started looking for a job. I didn't apply to a lot of places, like regular places, if you know what I mean. My first job ever was retail. I did it for 2 weeks. I quit. I hated it. So I started working at a restaurant, and then I kind of quit, and then I started model to modelpreneur. I also worked at a front desk. That was like the last job that I had. In the city, those were kind of like the skills and the jobs that I was applying for. And with modeling, obviously, you know, I was getting some bookings here and there. This is like an amount of 2 months, y'all. I'm just giving you a 2-month experience of me living in New York City. I want you guys to know that getting a job in the city is really hard. Like, it is not easy. Back in DC in general, like, they don't ask you for all this stuff. Like, they don't call your reference, but here they literally will call your reference. They will look for a resume. Like, they really take it very seriously. So if you want to get a job here in the city, just make sure that your resume is popping. Get ready for that. But for me, I did not apply for that many jobs. You want to know why? Because I wanted to work for a company, like a marketing company, like somebody who did what I was doing, to kind of like help me build my business better, so that's the only thing that I'll be doing other than modeling. I was praying to get a marketing job. Like, that's what I was praying for, and I ended up getting it. And I actually went on Craigslist to do this, and honestly, don't recommend. I have bad stories about Craigslist, but I actually went on Craigslist and I found a company that was looking for a digital marketing person. Basically what I do. At first, it was supposed to be like in person, and the job was really cool. I was working on Wall Street. That's where the office was. But then COVID happened. so everything happened to be online. So I was working from home, which I liked. I ended up quitting it, and now I'm doing model to Modelpreneur full time. I was lucky. For you, I just want to say, like, you really got to apply, like, everywhere. I wasn't doing that because that's not the job that I wanted. I'm so used to being an entrepreneur. I just could not work for a regular thing. I couldn't do it. Not everybody's gonna have a business, and not everybody wants to have a business. So just apply and then just be on top of it, but just know that it's not gonna be easy like wherever you're from, but it's not impossible. Nothing's impossible. Kind of like in conclusion, I just want to say that my experience moving to New York City has been amazing. I wouldn't change the way I moved to the city. This is exactly how everything was supposed to happen. So I just want you to know that you just need to get yourself in the city. That's it. You're going to evolve, you're gonna grow, you're gonna learn, you're gonna be a better person. When I was moving here, I wasn't thinking too much of like everything needs to be perfect. I need to be living in the perfect apartment. No, please don't think that way. If you gotta struggle for a little bit, if you gotta eat rocks for a little bit, it's okay. Eat the rocks for a little bit, because just know that you're gonna start eating good. Like, basically what I'm trying to say is, like, stop being such a perfectionist and waiting for the perfect time to move, because if you keep waiting for the perfect time, you're never gonna leave your city. As long as you can put your head at night to sleep, you have food in your stomach every day, and save. This is one advice I want to give you. Before you even move to the city, try to make sure that you have your first month's rent, last month's rent, a deposit, and then 3 extra months of rent, because these extra 3 months can give you time to find a job. Now I'm so much better where I'm at in New York City. I model, and I also run my online business, Model to Modelpreneur. If you don't know, go click the link down there. You know, if you're a model right now, go ahead and click down there, and I can teach you all about how to become your own boss. Another thing I want to say, people have this misconception that living in the city is so expensive. It is not that expensive, because you evolve. Like I said, you're gonna start spending like a New York City person. I don't mean it in a bad way. Some people come here and they're like, oh my god, milk is so expensive here. But you need to think about it like, we don't drive here. The way I think about it is like, every single day when I was in DC, I would drive, so I would pay money for gas, right? The money I would pay for gas every time, that's the money I'm now spending to go take the train. So stop letting other people kind of like block you from really doing what you want to do. Stop listening to other people. If you're going to move, don't even tell them. Don't even tell your parents. Don't even tell your sister. Tell your parents. But don't be talking about it like that. If you're going to do it, grow the balls and do it. Don't let people tell you how to, you know, live your life. You're gonna have better opportunities. It's gonna like elevate your career, because you're gonna be meeting the right people. Like, you can come here and you meet the right person, literally walking out the street. Oh, I'm talking too much. Oh my god. Wow. I'm so happy I'm making this for you all. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope I gave you guys enough value in this video, and I hope that you're ready to take that leap and move to that big city without being scared. And also, I wrote a book. If you want to go and check it out, the link is down below. It's only $5. So it's start your modeling career from scratch. If you are a model and you want to learn how to take your modeling to the next level, so go ahead and click the link down below and grab my ebook. It's an ebook, and you can also get it as a physical book. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.